Hey friends, with the Season 2 Turbo Boost just hours away as of the recording of this video, I wanted to make this video to talk about what's coming, what you can expect, and how we're going to be able to level up our characters and power up our characters to achieve the goals that we have for the rest of Season 2 of The War Within. Now, the first and most exciting, but also most controversial thing that is coming in Turbo Boost is the Puzzle and Cartel chips, also known as dinars among community. These are Blizzard's attempt at providing bad luck protection to players who have been playing throughout the patch, but maybe haven't got a trinket that they're chasing or a very rare item from a boss. Unfortunately, expectations were not set well by Blizzard for what these were going to be and what these were going to entail, and a lot of players assumed that they would be very similar to the Season 4 Dragonflight implementation of the system, where players would be able to just purchase an item on the myth track, regardless of whether they killed the boss or not. But that wasn't Blizzard's intent, and again, I think the issue here is not necessarily the players' expectations, but the way that Blizzard set expectations, because they did specifically say that these would be items that you can purchase that would have their own upgrade track completely separate from difficulty and not requiring any level of progression, and then they walked that back when it came time to actually implement the system. Now, the way that this is going to work is you're going to be able to purchase raid trinkets, raid weapons, and very rare items from the raid, and also Mythic Plus trinkets. The raid items are going to have certain restrictions, though. If you want to purchase a heroic raid item, you have to have killed that boss on any difficulty. If you want to purchase a mythic raid item, you have to have killed the boss that drops that item on mythic. And this is where the controversy really lies, because most of the items that players are kind of eyeing with excitement drop from the last few bosses on mythic, which very, very few of the players in the game actually kill on mythic difficulty. I myself am in a raiding guild that clears about half of the raid, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less on Mythic. And so, eyeing things like a Mythic Jaster Diamond or a Mythic House of Cards, it's just probably not going to happen for us. And that can be a little frustrating because a lot of players who are on the level that we're at, or even just in AOTC guilds, we already have a lot of the items, or we have access to the items on Hero Track, and we thought that this system was going to be a way to help us get a little bit of a power boost that would get us through maybe a progression point that we're stuck on, or get us gear that's going to be a little bit more impactful next season. But that was never Blizzard's intent with this system, and I think they should have really done a better job of communicating that beforehand. So what exactly will you be able to purchase? Well, I mentioned the raid items and the requirements there. You are also going to be able to purchase Mythic Plus trinkets. Now, you can purchase these on Hero Track with no requirements, or if you have cleared all dungeons on a plus 12 difficulty in time, you'll be able to purchase trinkets on the Myth Track. And I think this is a nice compromise from Blizzard. I'm okay with it. The trinkets from Mythic Plus this season, outside of a few tank trinkets that are really, really strong, and maybe a couple of melee trinkets, aren't necessarily best in slot, but they're pretty close, and there are some pretty exciting options that we can choose from. I have a few ideas of what I might want to take on my Warlock, but what you want to do probably is sim which items are going to be the biggest upgrade. I think the first purchase for most players is going to be a Hero Track Jaster Diamond, unless you have killed Gallywix on Mythic, in which case you can get that Myth Track Jaster Diamond. That's probably the biggest upgrade for most people that's going to be purchasable here. But ultimately, I would recommend just simming all of the items that are going to be available and figuring out which one you want to get based on how likely you think you are to get it from your raid group or from a vault, and then choosing an item that you will be able to use for the rest of the season for your main character. Now, the second thing that's coming in the Turbo Boost is the extension of the Hero and Myth track to 8 upgrade levels instead of 6. This means Hero Track items will now be able to go up to 8 of 8 or 671 item level, and Myth Track items will be able to go up to 8 of 8 or I believe 684 or maybe 685 item level. I haven't been on the PTR enough to verify which exactly it'll be, but it'll be a nice extension and a nice way to give us a little bit more power, a little bit more survivability as we continue on through the rest of Season 2. This will kind of inflate the key level and maybe help guilds get through a little bit of a harder boss that they may be stuck on as well. Now, you may be thinking, well, okay, that sounds really cool, but that means I'm going to have to use a lot of crests, and if you've been playing the whole season, you may be kind of at a point where you don't have enough crests to upgrade all of the items that you've got. Well, coming along with this number 3 is the uncapping of crest drops. You'll be able to farm all of the gilded crests that you need, all the ruined crests that you need, and you'll be able to trade up ruined crests into gilded crests if you've been saving them for a while. So this will be a nice way to be able to extend your gear, and if you've if you've got some time to commit this week, you can farm up a ton of crests. In addition to that, Valorstones will be Warbound. So if you find yourself capped on Valorstones and don't have enough crests to spend yet, you can send some Valorstones to an alt to hold them, so you keep getting them while they drop. I don't know if they're going to be uncapped on characters yet. We'll find that out on Tuesday, I suppose. But Valorstones will be Warbound. This will also be nice if you have an alt that you're trying to gear up, because a lot of times, you know, you get the crests that you need quickly, and then it just takes a long time to get the Valorstones, especially if you're doing something like upgrading a two-handed weapon, and you can run out of those, and it can be a little bit annoying. But if your main is sitting there with, you know, a full sleeve of, or a full bag of Valorstones, you can just send some over to an alt that is fresh and ready for upgrades. Number 5 is going to be upgraded crafted items. So we're getting an extra 2 upgrade levels on all crafted items. You will have to recraft these, which is a little bit of an annoyance, because recrafting things, especially if you don't have friends with those professions, can get a little bit pricey. But there will be an item that I believe costs 15 runed crests, and another item that costs 30 gilded crests, and these will add the equivalent of 2 upgrade tracks to your crafted items upon recrafting them. So all in all, we'll be able to go from a max item level of about 678 to about 684. It'll be a lot easier to max out your gear, whatever level it's at right now, because we'll be able to get as many crests as we need to for the rest of the season. In addition to that, Blizzard has also said there are some delve improvements coming. It's a little bit unclear to me what exactly these mean, but there should be, I guess, more crests dropping. We should be able to level up Bran a little bit faster and get some additional Season's Journey experience for that. But at the end of the day, you know, delves are not necessarily my jam. I know there's a lot of players that enjoy them and look at them as their sort of in-game progression. I've always been more of a Raid and Mythic Plus friend, Raid and Mythic Plus player myself. But delves are cool, and delves are great, and I'm glad that they're in the game. And hopefully the improvements are well received by the community. So at the end of the day here, there's going to be several things that we're able to get to upgrade our characters. We're going to have higher item levels, which includes not only more damage, but also I think more stamina is something that a lot of people kind of underrate and undervalue when you're adding 6 item levels across your character. You know, abilities that were one-shotting you by just a little bit more than your max health, you're now going to be able to survive. And maybe, you know, your defensives are going to go a little bit longer, your healers are going to have more power, your tanks are going to have more power, and hopefully that means that we will be able to clear more content and just have a little bit more life breathed into Season 2. I know for my guild, we've been in a situation where, you know, last tier we cleared half of the Mythic Raid. This tier we're starting progression on Styx this week, and hopefully this will help us get a little bit farther. We kind of have a stretch goal of like maybe getting One-Armed Bandit down. And we'll see how that goes. If you want to follow our progression, I do stream it sometimes on Twitch, and you know, maybe we'll do a little bit more of that in the coming weeks. But thank you all for taking the time to listen to this video and to watch this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully I answered most of the questions that you have about what's coming this Tuesday in the Turbo Boost. If not, then please feel free to drop questions in the comments down below, and I will try to do my best to respond to those and answer those as I'm able to. Thank you all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to put out more War Within content as we head into the Turbo Boost phase of Season 2 and then on into Season 3 and beyond. Thank you all, and hope you have a good one. Peace.